Vaya, sabroso.
Gee, I feel like it's Sunday afternoon.
Almost.
Almost. Well, everyone, welcome to Straight Up Talk with Earl Rush and Eileen Torres. Earl's not with us this evening, so I'll be doing this solo with my good friend DJ Broadway. And the first thing I want you to tell our audience is how you came up or how you were christened.
Yeah,
with
I was
the
christened.
name DJ Broadway.
Yeah, I was christened when I was in college way back in the 80s, if I was showing my age. At that time, there was DJ Hollywood. So my roommates were like, well, you can't take that name. So why don't we give you, they were just thinking of streets, Grand Central, 42nd Street. And then they said, how about Broadway? And Broadway just stuck with me for the rest. And here I am, there's 30 something years later, and I'm still carrying.
I never call you I never call you Mike or Michael. I call you Broadway. That's it.
Yeah, a lot of people just call me Broadway. Yeah, plus, I mean, Mike is a nice name, but there's just so many Mikes in the world. If you're in a room, hey, Mike, everybody's. So when it's Broadway, it's only going to be me that's going to raise that hand.
That's right. Well, tell us I know, but tell your audience how you got into this business.
Wow. I guess I was kind of destined to be in this business since I was like 4 or 5 years old when I was, literally breaking my father's records because I was like 4 or 5 years old. I mean, if I had $1 for every Aragon album I broke when I was like 2, 3 years old, I'd probably be a rich man right now. But that's pretty much how I started. I mean, my father would sit me down night after night. It would be Aragon, Cuní, Arsenio, Roberto Faz, Benny Moré, Pancho Bravo. So I had the best of both worlds. I had my father was also, he's still alive today. My father was also into American music. He was a big jazz fan. He was into, like Miles Davis, Glenn Miller, Louis Armstrong. So, and then my mom was more on the American side. She was like Tom Jones, Perry Como, Engelbert Humperdinck,
whoa,
Frank Sinatra. So here I am in the middle between my two parents, so I'm getting this education as a little one. I remember one time my father took me to see the Temptations in Central Park. I was like maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, I kind of remember the concert a little bit. I remember going there, but I don't remember actually the concert itself. So I've been around music pretty much since I was born. And then as I grew older, I just fell in love with music. I used to record stuff off the radio. I mean, I would sit down on Sundays. I don't know if you remember in New York, the Sunday Salsa show with Felipe Luciano on Sundays from 12 to 6. And then the Sunday Salsa show with Roger Dawson also from 12 to 6. Friday nights on WKCR, Jose Mambo Diaz with the Mambo Machine. So then I was listening to all that stuff. And then, of course, when I was a kid, I was listening to Polito Vega when he had our Latin thing on WBNX 1380 Red. If you got any Fania, any old Fania, that station was sponsoring a lot of the albums. Flip the album over and you'll see on the bottom, Jerry Masucci presents our Latin thing with Polito Vega, 1380 rated from 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. Look on any old Fania album, and you'll see that on there. So that's how I got my education. Then as a kid, I just started buying, with my allowance money, I started buying albums. And it just never stopped. I mean, most guys were buying sneakers, jeans, especially at that time. Pumas were big, Adidas, especially the red suede Pumas. I was buying records. Guys were wearing Lee. Lee was the big thing with the Lee jackets and the mock turtlenecks with the gold chains. But my thing was, I was just buying records. I take my allowance and buy records. And then when I got my first job, I would just go to the record store and spend all my money on records. I remember my mother told me, God rest her soul, I don't care. It's your money. You can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you right now, don't ask me for car fare or lunch money when you spend all your money on records. So I will go to the record store and have her in my head. And I'll be like, okay, I'm going to get this today, this today, this today, and this today. And I'm coming back next week for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to show you the first album I bought with my allowance money, which I happen to.
Oh, this will be good.
This is the first album I ever bought. Let me see if I can get it. Can I get it? Do I have it?
Move it a little bit more. There we go.
All right,
Pacheco y
there
su
we go.
charanga. Wow.
Volume 4.
Were you in
Let me
love
just
with
move there.
him all the way back then, or is that when you fell in love with him after buying that?
I was in love pretty much after I bought that album, because the whole thing, especially when Pacheco started, he mimicked so much Orquesta Aragon, and of course Aragon was so prevalent in my house. My father and I would go through these discussions. Ese tipo ha copiado de Orquesta Aragon. Todos esos números son copiados de Cuba. Todo eso de Cuba. Todo eso de Cuba. I said, yeah, Pop, I know he's copying from Aragon, but you gotta admit, it's beautiful music. So yeah, from day one, I've been a Pacheco fanatic, because of course I've got all the albums, all the CDs, and any kind of stuff that's related to Pacheco. So yeah, he was like it for me. There's a few artists that were it for me, but he was one of them. I gotta say, between him and Orquesta Aragon, the school that I had when I was a kid, that's why as a DJ now, I am so picky. I don't care if I'm playing house, hip hop, reggae, whatever I'm playing, I am so picky because I was raised on listening to good music. And that's something that has stayed with me all throughout my lifetime. And it's not going to change. I think I've gotten pickier as I've gotten older.
Probably. And for those who can't already figure out, DJ Broadway is Cuban. And that is why he has such a particular affinity and love for the music of his homeland. And as we all know, Johnny Pacheco in the Dominican Republic would listen to radio from Cuba.
Radio Progreso, that's right.
Yes, and so he was able to hear that original stuff, on the airwaves there, and he incorporated that into his song. Before you go on, when you were talking about the radio shows, what was the radio show from Fordham University? There was a salsa show that came on. This was like in 1980, 81, and it was Fordham University. And I can't remember. I think it was on Friday nights, but if it may come back to you after we're talking.
Yeah, because I know on Friday nights, I know Fordham was doing a show, but the Friday nights I was really with the Mambo Machine, WKPR, Columbia University.
Okay.
Jose Cheo Diaz.
All righty. I want to give people a little bit of background of how you became incorporated in my life. This was during the Zanzibar days, and as you well remember, Zanzibar was a really hot club, and most DJs wanted to play there, and I would receive demos. One I told you about that cracked me up because all it was an entire Gran Combo album, side 1 and side B, and that's right. What the guy gave me as his demo. I'm like, oh my goodness. So anyway, one day in the mail, I received four CDs from somebody in New York. And so I put them aside. And when I was driving from DC back to Ohio, I said, this is when I'm going to listen to them. So I put the first one in and I was like, that's a good song. Mm-hmm. And then the next song came on. I'm like, God, that's a great song. And then the next song came on and I was like, God, I almost forgot about that song. Mm-hmm. And then came on Charang. Who is this? Who is this DJ Broadway? And by the time I got to Ohio and by the time I got back, I had listened to everything you sent me like 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, okay, I got to call this guy. And this is when we began our association. And you came on the Wednesdays before Thanksgiving, which was one of the biggest nights. And
drove all the way from Brooklyn in the middle of the week in my van.
And what did you bring with you in that van?
I turned that DJ booth into my basement. Okay, I wait because I love Bruno to death. Bruno, if you're watching, what's up, man? I hope all is well. I mean, I love Bruno to death because to have a guy just come out of nowhere and just roll in there with a huge DJ concert with 2 turntables, mixer in the middle, and just like take over the entire booth because my attitude is this: when I'm playing somewhere, if I have to play somewhere for 5 or 6 hours, I have to be comfortable. I do whatever it takes. If I got to move tables, if I got to get a table, if I got to do this, I got to do that. If I'm going to play for a long time, I have to be comfortable. So yeah, I just pretty much took over that entire booth, and I wanted to make a good impression on you. You're the reason why I came out there, because I knew about the party, and I said, I want to impress her because I want to come back. Even when because Bruno was playing first, and I was just walking around getting the vibe of the room, I said, my God, this cannot be the first and last time. I've got to, whatever I do, I have got to come back. So I'm walking around the club planning my sets in my head. You know, what am I going to play? So once I finally got in the booth, and just like I said, I completely took it over. I put the album covers all over the place. I think people were dancing, but they were walking by and like, oh my God, look. And they would point like, look.
Pacheco with black hair. That's what I said. Pacheco with black hair. You had like a museum display that changed throughout.
Every hour. Yeah, I changed it every hour. Sometimes on the half hour I would change it because I had that many records with me. But I was changing every half hour.
So we saw album covers when we were used to CD covers, and they were all lining because it was surrounded by windows.
Yes, it was a beautiful booth. Beautiful booth.
Yeah, and you rocked the place. Now, I want you to repeat for the audience your 2 slogans.
It's well-structured sets and SALSA Canaria Toca. What I mean by well-structured sets, I don't care if you're playing house, hip-hop. When you're playing as a DJ, you have to have structure in what you're doing. Of course, you're reading the audience, and it's a communication going back and forth, but you still have to play structured. You know, because some guys just play just to be playing. They just one song in 1 minute, then a complete switch of another, a charanga 1 minute, a mambo the next. You know, you got to play structure, and you have to, like, you know, because some guys are like always rushing. You know, take your time, especially if you're doing like a 4 or 5 hour set. You got enough time to build the audience, but not keep them bored, but build the audience. That's what I mean by well-structured sets. And the thing about SALSA Canaria Toca, I'm not calling anyone out there, but now, like I say on the show, you really don't have to go out to know what's going on. You know, just turn on your computer, because everyone's posting from everywhere. I'm over here, over here. Everyone's posting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, lo que sea. So now you know what everybody's playing, and the stuff that I'm hearing, I'm like, wow. And then certain songs that are still being played today, I'm like, wow, what year is this? We're in what? It's 2021, right? And they're still playing that.
Aren't there songs that you've heard too many times, and you're wondering, why would you play that when that artist has 150 other tunes that are as good as or better than that?
We're not going to go into that, because you know what they are. I think the audience knows what they are, so I think we're going to leave that one alone. Okay,
we're not going to name any of those tunes.
They all know what those 10, 15 songs are.
Yes, and you know, your show on Sunday, and tell us about your show on Sunday, but your show on Sunday always features songs by artists that we know, love, respect, admire, but maybe not the songs that made it to, you know, the top of the charts.
Because I believe in the B-side. Okay? There's 2 sides of an album. Last time I checked, there's the A-side and there's the B-side. So everyone plays the A-side, but you guys, there's so much stuff on the flip side of the album that no one plays. Because if you remember back in the days, you look at people's albums, you see the A-side completely worn out, you know? And then you flip over to the B-side. Wow, man, they didn't even play this side, because all the hits, the majority of the hits were on the A-side. But there is a B-side of an album, and that's where the gems are. Okay, those were the hidden gems are on the B-side.
Well, another thing, tell us just a little bit about your Broadway Express on Sundays. I really want to encourage people to listen to that, because it is time well spent if you are a salsa fanatic, or even just a salsa fan. So tell us about your show, how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, the first half of the show, sometimes with the show, it depends on what mood I wake up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'll have a song the entire week and say, you know what, I'm going to open up the show with this song because it's just been stuck in my head. But the premise of the show, especially the first half of the show, is to focus on new music. You know, because I'm getting music all the time, and this music is not getting played. I mean, look, I respect the classics. I'm going to be playing classics of God knows when, but we need to move forward. We were there already. We were already at the Corso. We were already at Roseland. We were already at the Copa. We were there already. Now we need to move forward because there's so much music that these guys are putting out right now, new artists, and they need to get respect and they need to be played. So, and like I said, I make the rounds on Facebook and no one's playing these guys. So that's the premise show. And then the second half of the show, I always feature a charanga trap because that's another genre of music that no one plays. Why doesn't anybody play charanga?
And that was so prevalent in New York for so long. La Maganette, I mean, that was dedicated to charanga.
Yes, I mean, there were so many charanga bands back in the 70s and 80s. It was like Broadway versus Novell. You know, it was like
right.
These bands were working constantly. It's like that genre is like completely forgotten. I had one guy tell me that charanga doesn't swing. Really? Charanga doesn't swing?
Oh my God.
Does the name Orquesta Aragon that's still existing right now 80 years later mean anything to you? You know? So, and then of course we do the spotlight artists. I always try to surprise people with the spotlight artists. And if I play like a regular artist, I'll play all the B side of the stuff, and then I'll dig deep, really like rack my brains out to play something that's like way out of the norm. You know, so that's what the show is about. The show is pretty much a salsa out of the norm. And then of course after the show I play house, because as far as I'm concerned, I play the house and it keeps me grounded in terms of the salsa, because when you play one genre of music, you can get burned out. I mean, if you go to a lot of parties and you know guys who are working all the time, and they're playing the same music all the time because it's working for them. They say, hey, I don't gotta buy any new music. What for? I've been playing the same music for the last 30 years. I'm gonna start buying music now. This is working. Look at me. I'm getting paid. The crowd is happy. That's all that matters. But to me, I mean, it gets boring to me playing the same music all the time. So I'm always hunting. I'm up till 3, 4, 5 o'clock all over iTunes, all over the internet. If I see something on Facebook, I'll hit the artist up. Hey, yo soy fulano de tal, I got a show. Next thing you know, 2 days later, boom, there's the track in my email. And people ask me, how do you get so much new music? Because these musicians love feedback. They don't get it. So here's a DJ out of nowhere. He loves our music. He's playing our stuff and he's giving us positive reviews on the music. So when that artist will give me his music, and then when his friend is doing, hey, you know what? You got to send that to bro. Who's that? Don't worry about who it is. Don't worry about who he is. Here's his email address. Send the track to him. And a week later, say, yo, did you say? Yeah, man. Yo, he played it the same day. I sent it to him on Sunday, and he played it the same day, and he loved it, and he sent me positive feedback. So musicians love that because they don't get that anymore because nobody cares. And
you know, I've heard, you know, how long I lived in DC. Well, yes. I heard 2 artists that you played, and I was like, oh my God, that's Vivian singing. It was Edwin Ortiz.
La
Mafia del Guaguancó. I'm like, oh my God, Broadway's playing Vivian. And then Leonardo Garcia.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Nobody.
Yes.
Nobody plays him. And all his productions are slamming. All of them. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
Well, and it's such a pleasure to hear these what would be considered local artists. You know what? You turned me on to Nathan Rodriguez, and I would not have known of him unless you had played him and featured him as a spotlight artist and talked about, hey, you know what, Chicago's really doing it?
Yes, they are. Chicago's doing it. It's not just house music. It's not just house music. They're doing it.
Yeah, and I know that you are a fan of the conjunto style. I love it too. And Nathan is putting the modern spin on it. And
yes,
without you introducing that to your vast audience, because I hear you shouting out to people in Utah and all around the country, and to other countries also. I mean, you're really keeping us informed, up to date, and giving us appreciation for the new artists.
Yeah. Yeah, let's hear a little taste of Leonardo.
Okay.
El movimiento de tu cintura parece al vaivén de las olas. Pido a Dios que esa marea no suba, pues cuando sube me descontrola. Quiero vivir pegado a tu cuerpo.
The swing on this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
María, qué cosa tan buena. Bailar contigo esta rica rumba. Oye. Contigo es que quiero bailar y que no pare la rumba. Bailando la noche entera.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's just so much new music. And then some people say, well, it's kind of tough to play music with these old people because they don't know it. Well, the formula that I use sometimes is when I'm playing, 2 they know, 1 they don't. And I see how the night starts to go. And sometimes I can raise the ratio. Sometimes it'll be 1 they know, 1 they don't know, and 2 they know. And then I can start switching. Now it's 2 they don't know. And as we get, because you keep the tempo the same, and people are like, wait a minute, yo, that's kind of slamming. I don't know what it is. Vamos a bailar. So I can get it to a point where it's 3 you don't know and 1 you know, because it's what I call, you got to throw them a bone. You see, but when I throw bones, I don't throw neck bones. I throw sirloin steak bones.
Okay.
I might throw like a quick Ray Barreto, or old Pacheco La Muchacha. So the bones I throw out are sirloin steak bones.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a crazy philosophy, but that's just the way I operate. I'm kind of out there.
Well, one of the things that tickles me so much about you is every time I listen to you, you are so thrilled by your own selections. It's almost like you didn't know it was coming, but you knew it was coming. And you are so happy to hear what you just selected for us to play. And you're like, oh yeah, listen to the ending of this, because the endings are so important. I mean, I listen to you when you're talking.
Yes, yeah, beginnings and endings are very important to me, especially how a song starts, because that's how you invite people to the dance floor. So when they hear that piano riff or that conga riff, even if they don't know what the song is, they're like, wait a minute, that's kind of like, okay, and then they're like, but okay, eso. We were talking before we went live. You said, do people ask me for requests? I don't like to brag, but no one really comes to me in the night. I mean, if I'm doing a wedding, a corporate event, of course, that's a whole different ballgame. But when we're in like the club environment, very rarely does anyone come up to me, because I'm hitting you. You got no reason to come to me. I'm giving you no reason to come to me because I'm hitting you. And I'm hitting you. I
love a confident man.
I'm hitting you nonstop from the jump. And I always tell people it's very important, when people are walking in the room, how a DJ starts off the night, because the stuff that he's playing at the beginning of the night tells you where we're going. So when people are walking in, I'm playing warm-up stuff, and they're like, okay, Ray Barreto, ahora sí, okay, It's this. They already know it's not gonna be the same old. That's the whole thing. So that's, like I said, I have to keep the audience engaged. This way I stay working. It's a very simple thing.
Okay.
It's not rocket science.
No, it's not. But since you're such a connoisseur of music, I'd like you to share with us maybe 5 of the orchestras that you think are slamming orchestras that never received their due or are underestimated, however you want to refer to them, as just not being fully appreciated for what they give.
Oh, at the top of the list right now, it's got to be Pete Benignon. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I play him and people are like, who is that? What? This CD is like 3 years old, man. Where have you been? He's on the, he's on the top of my list. Let me just,
you got a little bit of him right there, right?
I got a little bit of him right there. I mean, this right here is just like,
and tell us who his daddy is.
If I say Benignon, I ain't talking to champagne. If I say to any Hispanic person the last name Benignon, they better not know that I'm not talking about the champagne. Okay, I mean. Homo.
Azúcar morena ya le llaman, pues dulce sabe. Cuidado que puede envenenarte con su jarabe.
I mean, it's the kind of track if you don't know what it is, you're on the sidelines and you're doing this. You're like, okay, wait a minute.
And looking for a partner, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's when the person starts walking around the room. Yo. And then I got the slamming sound system, so it's like Pete is in the room. That's another thing. Your sound system has got to be correct. Your sound system that's so important.
I know you've invested a ton of money into your equipment. I mean, I couldn't believe that you brought your own equipment to Zanzibar. And I know that there have been promoters who have seen your speakers and asked if you're with the band, if you're coming to set up. For
every time I go anywhere, I don't care where I'm at, when I'm rolling in with the hand truck, oh, what band is playing? I said, no, I'm the DJ. The DJ? And then I go out once, then come back in again, then go back out again. Then come back in again, and I'm back and forth. I'm making like 5 or 6 trips, and now I've got all this stuff to set up, and people are looking at me like, yo, what is he? This is a DJ? I mean, I thought DJs just coming with a little knapsack and a laptop in their back and a little controller and a couple of speakers. This guy is like coming in with a hand truck. I come in a little basic with rolling in with a 4-wheel hand truck. Okay, so I've got the hand truck stacked, and people are like, yo, who is this guy? And then, getting back. He kind of sounds like Pop. He's got the same kind of flavor as his father. It's the same kind of tempo.
Doesn't fall far from the tree.
That's exactly.
Oye, Pete. Repártemela.
Listen to this break. It's insane. Homo.
Broadway. Here's
it's murder.
a question that Earl would ask you. Do you dance?
I do dance, but I'm too busy working. Because some guys, because they've got the laptop and it's on autopilot, the next track comes in automatically. But I don't have that luxury because I'm playing song to song. It's not pre-recorded. It's not preset. It's not in my laptop where I had it set from 2 weeks ago, and I can just hit the play button and I could dance 3 or 4 records and socialize. I've had people come up to me and say, bro, you're not really approachable. I can't. It's not a matter of being approachable. It's just that I'm so focused. If you watch basketball, Michael Jordan was a killer. Kobe Bryant was a killer. He was your friend, but as soon as that ball went up, it's game over, and I'm here to kill you. So that is my job. My job is to make sure you go home with your feet hurting, your back hurting, and that means if you went home in pain after a night with me, that means I did my job.
but it's joyful pain.
Yes, joyful pain. Yes.
Yes, it is. You know, I want to let the audience know that when you would come to Zanzibar, you would have all those crates of music, and you brought no laptop at that time. So tell us how you have moved into the 21st century and how you still are ahead of the curve.
I'm ahead of the curve because here's the one thing. I need to feel. I mean, if I had it my way, I'd still be playing vinyl or at least CDs. So I still have a traditional 2 CD players and a DJ mixer, but at least I've moved up in the ranks now. I've kind of like moved up a little bit. I think I showed you this earlier. This is one of my house flash drives, but at least I've moved up to USB flash drives now. I mean, I still got CDs, but yeah, I've moved up to USB flash drives, and the sound is amazing because I'm transferring directly from CD, and I'm talking about thousands of hours of physically transferring from CD to USB, because each track has to go one by one. It's not like a CD that you can just, when you're transferring a CD into your laptop, you're throwing in, boom, hit the button, boom, go have dinner, walk the dog, take a shower, come back, pull out the next CD, put the next one in, watch the game, go to sleep. Or if you're doing multiple CDs in the middle of the night when you get up to go to the bathroom, no. With me, it's one by each track has to get analyzed, and each track has to physically go in. So there's no, so like I said, it's thousands of hours. But once it's done, it's game over. I don't got to worry about it. And of course, I got a backup flash drive. Every flash drive is backed up. Yeah.
Well, when I first met you, I asked you how much music you had, and you told me you were over 20,000 albums and CDs. And this was long time ago. Long time ago when you told me that. So what do you think you have now? I've
got to have close to 35, 40, because here's what's happening. 2 things happen. People, hey, Mike, I'm getting rid of my records. Come by. Boom, I'm coming. Hey, Mike, I'm throwing out these records. Boom, I'm coming. Because I got a van. So I don't care how many records you got. I'm taking them all. I don't have a little Honda or Toyota. I've got a van. So if you're getting rid of your entire library, I'm the one to call. Between that and also walking in the street, people throw away records.
Oh, wow.
I've seen Beatles in the street, Rolling Stones, Miles Davis, because people are like, I just want to get rid of it because I'm moving. I'm going to a condo, and
they're heavy.
I don't even listen to these stuff. I've got all this stuff on CD, or I've got it digitally, and it's insane. I would come home. Sometimes it's tough for me because I would come home with crates, sometimes crates of records, so people are throwing them out. I'm like, I'm taking them all now. I don't care there were nights where I had to take a cab home because there were so many records.
Wow.
Okay, this is way before Uber, way before all the taxi services. So it's like stand on the corner and be like, and hope that somebody stops it, because then the cabs will be like, I'm not stopping. This guy's got like 4 orange crates of records. He's not putting that stuff in my car. So it'll take a while. So I've picked up stuff in the street. So yeah, right about now, I've got to say about 30 to 40. And the CD collection, which I'm still buying, that's another thing. I still buy CDs. Even though I get the digital version on iTunes, I still want the physical. I want the physicals because I want to know who did it, who wrote it, where it was mixed, who's the arranger, who's the personnel. I need to know that, because people are like, so if you buy the digital, why are you buying the CD? Because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
Amen. And I still miss the backs of album covers with those really detailed liner notes. I mean, I learned so many names. Who would know Harvey Avern? Well, I know that because of all the stuff that he was on, or oh my God, Marty Cohen, all these names that are non-Latino names. Or how about a name like Sam Burtis? I mean, I saw him in a movie the other day, the Blues Brothers 2 or something, and they showed all the artists at the end. I said, oh my God, he plays on salsa, So, and we don't have that luxury too much anymore because you don't see liner notes, and education is faltering, and then there's not a ton of people that are really interested in learning who the personnel is and who played that incredible flute solo, you know? So now I want to ask you something that we haven't talked about before. I want your opinion. New York salsa versus Puerto Rican salsa.
Oh, God. I mean, if we're talking, all right, we'll take the past first, and then we'll go into the future. As far as the past is concerned, New York versus Puerto Rico, that's a tough one. New York might have a slight edge back in the 80s, early 90s. I mean, because there were so many groups that were just owning New York. I mean, one group that comes to mind is Conjunto Clásico. I mean, those guys just owned New York. I mean, I think back then, if there was a picture of the map of New York, it'd be like the map of New York, and then Ray Castro and Tito Nieves and Amor Ruiz on the side, because those guys own New York. But not only did they own New York, they own the entire world, because they were just traveling everywhere. Then, of course, you know, Puerto Rico, you know, you got the University of Salsa, Gran Combo, those guys. I mean, even to this day, they're still going. So, I mean, New York might have a slight edge. Now, present 2021 is Puerto Rico all the way. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm from the Bronx. That's supposed to be a Condado de la Salsa, blah, blah, blah. No. Because now you got Chicago's in the mix. Washington's in the mix. You know, Seattle is in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So New York is like, I mean, New York se está quedando a little atrás. I think we got a couple of guys that have releases out. Like, do I have? Yeah, I have. Wait. Yeah, like the Eddie Montado. No, that's the wrong one. Espérate. Where's the? Wait. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I mean, this is just ridiculous. This album right here is just ridiculous. Eddie Montado. This is and he's straight up New York. Everybody knows who Montado is. Fania All-Star. Been playing since the year. I mean, Jesus, he's been playing, I don't know, some 60-something years. So right now, who's winning that game is Puerto Rico all the way.
Well, now let's add the South Americans into the mix now, especially now. So give us your opinion on what's coming out of Venezuela and what's coming out of Colombia.
Watch out for Peru. Woo, child.
And Peru, okay.
Woo, talk. I mean, before they were doing a lot of ringers, but now they're starting to wake up. And now they're like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we did the remake thing. We got a little name out there, but now we're gonna put out new music. And so watch out for the Peruvians. The Peruvians are next. They are next. So watch out for them.
I'll tell you what, in DC, there's a huge community of Peruvians. And what I loved about them is that they came to hear every live salsa band. They never quibbled about the price of entrance. They knew the musicians, they knew the words,
yes,
and they all drank.
Yeah.
So, you know, the club owners were happy for that.
Same thing with the Colombians. Those guys, if Grupo Nietzsche is there and they said it's 75 at the door, it's no problem. I'm there. I don't care. My wife and I, it's $150. I don't care. It's Grupo Nietzsche, and I'm going.
There was a time in in Washington when Nietzsche came almost every 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, but they were, you know, they came and then they were coming back again, and then hey, they're playing here, hey, they're playing there. You know, what a tremendous band! What a tremendous band! So now we all know that New York was the salsa capital of the world. Where do you think it is now?
Wow, we're suffering because we have no venues. That's our problem. I mean, even before because everybody's the pandemic. I mean, yeah, the pandemic. No. My man. New York was going slowly downhill way before COVID. So don't blame it on COVID. You know, because all the big clubs were closing. And people just got to the point where it's like, I don't want, and then the promoters were like, well, they don't want to pay, let them in free. So now we're in this free, everything free. But you don't understand. So they had a club in the Bronx. So, oh yeah, I'm going to see Ocat de Leon for free. Yeah, you're going to see Ocat de Leon for free, all right. wait till you go to the bar. Okay. And you ask the bartender for a simple Corona, and he says $9. So they're going to get you either way. You're better off just paying your regular $20 or $25 admission, and this way you can go to the bar and get that $5 or $6 Corona. But now the club is like, okay, we got to pay the rent, and we got to give Oscar like $30,000 or $40,000 or whatever he's asking for. A gran combo, $65,000, $70,000, or we got to get Beto in here. God forbid.
All right.
That money's got to come from somewhere. People don't want to pay it again. That's all right. We're going to get you at the bar, and don't sit down for dinner, because we're going to get you right there too. There's a reason why you got in here free to see a gran combo. There's a reason why you got in here for free. You didn't want to pay at the door, fine. Just don't say anything when you go to the bar and the bartender's like $9.50 for a Corona. And then they start complaining. You can't believe you didn't pay to get in. Why are you complaining? You didn't pay to get in.
That's right. Well, let's go back to naming a couple other groups that you think are underrated, underappreciated, that have a knockout swing.
Knockout swing, yeah, that's another group. Vamos a ver, yeah, Mercado Negro, and I believe those guys, Mercado Negro. I think those guys are out of Spain. They got, everything they got is just. Let's give me a second. There we go. These guys are just these guys are unbelievable, and of course no one's playing them. When I played this a couple of weeks ago, people were like, "What is that?"
Ay, puedes estar lejos de mis ojos, pero no de mis pensamientos. Te extraño, mi tierra. Salí de mi tierra un día con una maleta llena de ilusiones, con un nudo en la garganta.
See, I like to play head bop and salsa. You know what I mean? You be like,
No me importaba si algún día en la calle me gritaban ilegal.
Oh.
Sí. Hoy recibí una llamada que era mi hijo que me decía, te extraño tanto y tanto, como me duele tu partida.
And I also believe in the simple arrangements. You got some of these arrangements that the horns are going on for a half hour. I need a solo over here. The simplest groove is the most effective groove. And songs, the era of songs up to 7-8 minutes, that was thing of the past. Now you got to try and keep it under 5 to keep the attention span. But the simple groove is what it's all about. Here comes the breakdown. Break again. Here the piano is rocking. Listen to the piano as he's rocking it. Like I said, the simple groove is the most effective groove.
Now, let me ask you this question, Broadway. Are there any groups that you would farm out your own gig to someone else because some fabulous group was in town that you wanted to see?
Okay, repeat that one more time.
What group would you want to see so badly that you would give your scheduled gig to someone else?
Wow, that's that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I've got to go. Who would I? Oh wow. I guess I got to put Pete Benny Young at the top of that list. Yeah, I would. I would. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would put Pete Benny Young at the top of the list. I mean, I would love to put Willie Rosario up there because I'm also a Willie Rosario addict. It's just that the edge has been lost because of the singers. You know, I mean, everyone is like when a singer leaves a group, you know, the dynamics of the group change. I mean, case in point at Gran Combo. I mean, they're still going. They're still going. You know, I mean, Jerry is still hanging in there. The two new guys are in there, but the reason why, but they're missing Charlie. And Charlie is just blowing up now because I mean, he's kind of like proving the point. I was the group. You understand what I'm saying? The reason why I'm working like crazy and the reason why I'm doing all these tunes and I was with a Gran Kuma because I made them. That's his. Well,
you know, I always marvel at that. Same thing with Pichi Perez. You know, I think, why would you leave Sonora Ponceña? You know, such a great singer as Pichi. But when Charlie Aponte left and when Pichi Perez left, I'm like, wow, do they see on the horizon something so much more lucrative or satisfying or rewarding? Because that's like leaving a championship team.
Right.
Well, kind of like what Tom Brady did, you know, kind of like that. So what's your opinion on them leaving?
Well, in the Peachy situation, because we had him on the Mom on the City podcast a couple of weeks ago, he said that, you know, he felt it was time for him to go because he was there like 35 years, you know, and he always felt that group belonged to Papo Luca. It will always be Papo Luca. So it was time for me to go. My whole thing is that if you're going to leave a group, leave inside of 15 in the case of Gilberto, Tony Vega, Tito Rojas, you know, Peter Conde. You don't stay, especially in the case of Charlie, 41 years? Are you kidding me? 41 years, you said you just woke up, you know what? I think it's time for me to do my own thing. After 41 years, you've come to this decision. You're on a winning squad. You've got hundreds of hits under your belt with this group. Everywhere you go, your worship. But now that he left, because like I said, I think he saw he saw the future. Say, you know what? If I leave now, you know, now's a good time for me to leave. I know I took too long to leave, but now, if I leave now while the fire is hot, I can start gigging. And now, since the pandemic is over, he's been going non-stop.
Well, that's so good to hear because, as you well know, most of the musicians are struggling to get gigs. I know they're starting to come back, but you grew up in New York. You knew what it was like when you could go out any night of the week. And
I mean, these guys were doing doubles and triples in one night. In one night. You want us to do 3 gigs? One set here, and one set here, and we out. You know what I'm saying? Or also, if you did 2 gigs a night, 2 sets here and 2 sets, I'm in the Bronx first, and then I'm going to Brooklyn. Or vice versa. I'm going to Staten Island, and then we got to be in the Bronx by 11 o'clock. You know? That's just the way it was. So yeah, those guys are strong. And plus, what's going on now in New York with the whole, you know, break the band up. You know, I'm not going to bring all my guys so I can get the gig, you know, and I'm not getting that much money and people don't care. You know, me personally, I can't go out to these places and hear one horn guy playing all the horn parts. I'm not raised on that. I'm not raised on that. I'm raised on going to see Conjunto Clásico, 3 trumpets, 3, full rhythm section, and 3 vocalists up front. That's how I was raised. I went to see a charanga band, 3 violins, not 1, 3 violins. So I can't do that because it sounds so hollow. But the general public is like, you know what? We're just getting live music, and we're in a society now, Eileen, where people don't care. 30 years ago, that did not happen. Because 30 years ago, you were paying to get it. So, yeah, you know what? And Gran Goma better be rocking. Pacheco better bring it tonight. Okay? But now it's like, I'm not paying to get in. And it's like, I'm watching these little bands. It's like 8, 9 guys. Also, you got the piano player playing all the horn parts because, you know, they got these electronic pianos that can mimic the trumpet, the trombone, the saxophone. I know it's hollow. General public is like, okay, well, but I don't know about you. Yeah, okay. Sounds like
I know the words.
Really? That's where we are now. You know, it's a sad thing. But meanwhile, in Puerto Rico, especially last week, and they just had that big Fiesta Patronales last week. I mean, the lineup was just ridiculous from Thursday to Sunday. Ridiculous. But that's Puerto Rico. You know, that's why Puerto Rico, I don't like to say it, but right now Puerto Rico is killing us. They're killing us.
Well, and you almost have to travel outside of the United States to really be among a huge crowd that is truly appreciating a full orchestra. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame that our native musicians have to travel to other countries where more people in Russia come out to see you than come to see you in New York City.
Yeah. I mean, when Spanish Harlem did that tour a few years ago in Russia, Spanish Harlem Orchestra in Russia, and they were there for like about 2-3. This is about 4 or 5 years ago, but they were there for a long time in Russia. What's that telling you? Spanish Harlem Orchestra, Grammy-winning Spanish Harlem Orchestra.
Right. Well, it tells you that we have lost our appreciation for the music makers. Now, you've talked about Aragon several times. How many times have you seen them?
Well, I did one gig with them when they were here about in 2011. I've only got a chance to see them 2 or 3 times because one time when they came when I was a kid, they were supposed to be at Carnegie Hall, and then those crazy Cubans bombed Carnegie Hall, and they had to leave, and then they went to some club somewhere on 8th Avenue. I couldn't go because I was like, I was like a teenager. I mean, we had tickets to go. I remember like it was yesterday. I'm in the shower, I'm getting ready, and then my father comes into me and tells me that they canceled the concert because these crazy Cubans bombed part of Carnegie Hall. I started crying. It was unbelievable. So when I got a chance to actually play with Aragon in 2011, it was like a dream come true. I was like in heaven. I think I got there the gig started like at 7:00. I was there at like 4 just to watch the sound.
Wow.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing when I do Lincoln Center Midsummer Night Swing. Every time I go, I get there like I'm not supposed to start till like 6:00. I'm there at like 2:00 in the afternoon because I want to soak in the whole thing. I want to. When the musicians come in and they come in the street clothes, they're doing the sound check. I want to just soak all of that in because the night goes by so fast because it's only from 6 to 10. Especially the night that Willie Dosade was there. It was on my birthday. It started raining. I mean, it was like pouring. And then at like 5:15, God just said, "Okay, you know what, Mike? I'm gonna give it to you." The sun came out, and it was just a beautiful night, July 4th, like about 4 or 5 years ago with Willie Dosade. I mean, what a birth! I had Willie Dosade on my birthday at Midsummer Night Swing, and I also had the last one was Bobby Valentin. Woo.
Well, let me tell you who I had on one of my birthdays, Mulense. And you know, Mulense did not come to the U.S. a lot.
True.
And you know, I'm very grateful that growing up in Lorraine, some of the Cleveland DJs were big time fans of Mulense. So we heard Mulense a lot. My girlfriend and I drove from Lorraine, Ohio to Bridgeport, Connecticut to see them because we knew they were going to be in the U.S. And so I had them. And you know, you probably don't know, but Aragon played at Zanzibar one night.
Really?
Yes. And I would say maybe about 7 or 8 years later, they played at the Howard Theater too. So I got to see them twice. Of course, we know it's not the original iteration of the Aragon, but it is their offspring and their apprentices, their trainees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the flavor's still there. It's still there. And the
Now,
musicianship is still there.
I want to talk a little bit about your love for Pacheco, because that's one of the first things that I discovered about you. And when he died, you were the first one that I sent condolences to, because I knew how much he meant to you. So how did this love affair develop?
Well, between him and especially, of course, Peter Conde Rodriguez, la combinación perfecta. I mean, Jesus Christ, and it was just album after album after album. It was just money in the bank. And like I said, when I did the Pacheco tribute, he followed the Cuban blueprint. When he started with the charanga, he started with doing a lot of Aragon and Fajardo stuff. And then when he switches over to the conjunto, first album he does, Cañonazo on Fania, is all Sonora Matancera songs and Estrella de Chocolate songs. So he followed the blueprint and just kept it going. And then when Pete leaves, and then Casanova, he just has a way of finding talent, because when Casanova came into the group, he was raw. I mean, I remember Casanova was playing local gigs in Elmhurst, Queens. He was playing with a group called Rimbo Tropical, you know. And then Pacheco just takes him and he has a way of just molding people, you know. And then the people who have graduated from the Pacheco school, people don't know that Santiago Cerón was part of Pacheco. People don't know that Ray Castro, who's the leader of Conjunto Clásico, was the conga player.
Oh,
With Pacheco. Yeah. If you might find some old videos on YouTube of Pacheco. It's Ray Castro playing conga, playing one conga.
Wow.
One. So, like I said, Pacheco had the tres, Charlie Rodriguez on tres. Are you kidding me? And of course, to top it off, probably the most dynamic vocalist. I'm gonna put it out there. The most dynamic vocalist, Peter Conde Rodriguez and Padre Cancer. I mean, not only he can do charanga, bolero, boogaloo, whatever was thrown in front of him, it's no problem. So yeah, and plus at my aunt's house when I was a little kid, going from my Brooklyn to Queens, in my aunt's house, it was like a Pacheco festival. I mean, it was my father would be like upset because he's like, I can't believe, these gente no están oyendo Aragón o Cuní. My father was always, even to this day, Pacheco ha copiado de Cuba. Ese puso famoso porque él copió de Cuba. Y tú lo sabes. Yeah, Pop, I know. But there's a reason why they call him El Maestro. There's a reason why they call him El Maestro. Same thing with Tito Puente. They call him the king. Yo, look at some of those Tito Puente songs. They come straight from Cuba. All right. And in the case of Fania, half of the Fania catalog is Cuban remakes. We can take one quick example. Hector Lavoe's Rompe Saraway. It's a Chapulín song. So I'm going to leave because I've gone into a lot of heated arguments about, well, salsa came from here. They did this. No, my man. Hold on. Stop the music. Eso viene de allá atrás. So call suave.
Well, since you're such a huge Pacheco fan, I want to tell you one of the greatest compliments I ever heard paid to him, and it came from Celia Cruz. The Smithsonian used to bring a lot of salsa artists for concerts, and on the afternoon before the concert, they would bring that artist to be interviewed, and you could go there for free and hear the interview and ask questions. And one thing that Celia said was they were asking her about everybody that she performed with, everyone that she sang with, everybody's band that she played with. And she said, I only ever once asked for specifically one band that I wanted to play with. And that was Johnny Pacheco.
Wow. That's well, Celia was like, I mean, let's listen to Pacheco for a quick second. Like I say, every time I play this song, listen to the Guido and Maraca combo. Pacheco on Guido and Peter con the maracas. Just listen to that. Listen to that. Crispy. It's crispy. That's another thing I do, as a DJ. Certain songs I will bring up the mid-range so you can hear. I want the audience to hear what I'm hearing. Mm-hmm. Because most guys, they just play music. Oh yeah, it was great. But I want you to pay attention. Even if you're not paying attention, I'm going to make you pay attention because I'm going to turn up the mid-range. I'm going to turn up the treble. So when they're rocking maracas and Guido, you're like, coño, wow. The shit is always, in the case of Luis Rosario, on certain songs, when he's tapping on the side of the timbal, I'll bring up the mid-range so that you can hear it because you're not paying attention. You're just dancing, but I make you, even though you don't want to listen, I make you listen because I want you to feel what I'm feeling.
Well, it's DJs like you, DJ Bruno, Saborinquen. I mean, so many that I could name. There are so many tremendous DJs that have played a huge role in educating the public to the great salsa music because as we know, it's not all great. Some of it is mediocre. Some of it is less than mediocre. But when you have the privilege and the opportunity to be in the presence of someone like you and the other ones that I mentioned and many, many, many more, you instill in us a standard. We now have a standard for what is great music. And then if you become accustomed to that standard and you travel somewhere else and you're a DJ that doesn't have your knowledge or your passion to learn more, you can tell the difference. So,
because I tell you, when I went to Zanzibar and I got there early and Bruno was playing, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna have to tighten my belt up. Yeah, this guy is not playing around because I know he was from the Bronx. I know he was living out there, so I knew a little bit about him. But just listen to the stuff that he was playing. I was like, ooh, okay, I'm gonna have to really. And then he's playing song after song after song. I'm like, coño, de tipo está encendido. Okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna have to, yeah. Guys like him, bring out the best in me. When I'm playing with people like that who are playing in front of me, who open for me or whatever, it's like, okay, yeah, now we're talking. Some nights it's easy for me. The guy will be playing in front of me. I'll be like, I can play my D material and kill this crowd. You know what I'm saying? But then there are nights where it's like, oh, okay.
He or she knows what they're doing.
You know who I used to love a lot as one of the female DJs? Elvira.
Yes.
No, that child.
Who relocated to DC.
She was the truth. When she was doing those Wednesday parties at Nell's, that's right, Nell's. She was playing.
Nell's, that's right.
Yeah, she was playing downstairs. Homegirl was the truth. Okay, so she's not DJing anymore. Right? She's out of the business.
I would say 90%. She's a mother now, and so and then everything has changed, so there's not as much opportunity nor demand. So. That didn't help, but you're going to be playing this Saturday with another tremendous DJ.
Yeah, I'm the belt. My as soon as I knew who I'm playing with, the belt was already tightened. My belt's been tightened for about the last 2-3 weeks.
Tell us who you're playing with, when and where.
It's going to be Saturday at Adelante Studios. For information, go to onewordmambointhecity.com. It's Eddie Torres teaching the class for the first hour and a performance, and the music is provided by Henry Knows. Everybody knows who he is. He's like the law, and myself. So it's going to be a great. Everyone's going to be in audio heaven, like I always say. Like people are going to be in audio heaven on Saturday.
Well, great. Remember what you used to do at Zanzibar? You used to record, and
Oh my God! The last time I went there, which was the night before Thanksgiving. It was pouring rain. I got there insanely early. I had to create, I don't know what was in my mind when I left Brooklyn, but I said, you know what? I'm going to bring a CD recorder. I'm going to bring a duplicator, and I'm going to bring some blanks, and I'm going to record the night from beginning to end. The party was over, and there was still, because at that time, I mean, if I did it now I got a tower. Now I can do I got a tower, one CD in and 5 come out. Back then, it was just, I had a simple one copy. So people were waiting. People were waiting in line, and I was selling them for $5 each.
Right.
That night, I made about $250 on CDs.
Extra.
I mean, extra. Yeah, it was. I don't know what possessed me to do it, because I just felt that, you know what, man, if I bring, I might be able to make some extra money. And then people just love the music. And then I kept on saying all night long, I'm recording the entire night from beginning to end. People were already like, can I get the last hour? Because I have people who will come up to me, can I get a copy of the last hour? Here you go.
Well, don't tell anyone you're doing it, but make a copy of the night for your good friend Eileen, who can't be there with you.
I'll work on that. Because now it's a little easier to do it now. So yeah, I'm going to work on that.
Okay. Well, DJ Broadway, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss, or any parting words, or lay some words of wisdom or some words of inspiration on us?
I am an audio purist. Okay, that is, and I am a DJ's DJ. I'm the kind of DJ that you want to go hear, because I'm an audio purist. I don't believe in playing music that sounds incorrect. That's why I physically transfer all my CDs onto the flash drive, as painstaking as it is, like I said, the thousands of hours that it takes me to do that, because sound is very important to me. I mean, I'm going back as a kid. I used to have, those stereos back in the days, when that those Blaupunk stereos that you open them up, there'd be a bar inside, So I've been raised on good sound from day one, from the first stereo that I ever bought all the way. And then when I started DJing, I just started buying more and more and more equipment, because I was never satisfied. Now at this stage of the game, yes, I am very, very satisfied with what I have, but I am an audio purist. Like I said, I'm the kind of guy that you want to go hear, because my music is going to sound correct. And like I said before, I'm going to make you listen, even though you're not really listening. I've got the power to make you listen, especially on those piano solos. I'll turn the mid-range up so that people can feel it. Because I want you to feel I want you to feel what I'm feeling. So that's my. And then I also want to talk about quickly how the technology has made people lazy. Because
let's talk about that, and then there's 2 things I want to talk about after that. So let's talk about how today's technology has made people lazy.
It's made people lazy because with the laptop, you can play a certain amount of songs and it'll stay in the computer. You can turn your computer off for 6 months and turn it back on. That same set is still going to be there. It's still going to be there. So, and then you fall into a trap. You have certain songs in a certain folder, and you keep going to that folder over. Meanwhile, you might have 3,000 songs somewhere else in your hard drive. But these 4 or 5 folders are like your money in the bank. So it's like, yo, all I got to do is boom. And then, of course, the DJs that like to socialize. Okay, that's why people tell me, but bro, you're not really. Yes, I am. No, you're not, man. You're always so serious. You're behind the set. Or else when you're getting ready to play, you're pacing around like you're getting ready to have a baby, because I'm calculating. I'm getting my head ready to play. And then once I start playing, it's game over, because I remain focused. That's the whole thing. And like I said, yeah, technology has made people lazy, because it's like, I don't have to worry about buying new music. I've got these 5 folders, these 10 folders with the same songs, and it works for me. And that's it. But that I can't do that, because I need to be challenged. That's why people say, yo, why don't you get a laptop, man? You can put that in memory and you don't have to. No, I want to play from. See, this is the hard drive. Here's my hard drive right here. This is my hard drive. This hard drive never crashes. All right, so I don't have to worry about this hard drive crashing. At least not yet, anyway. I take good care of myself, so this hard drive doesn't crash.
It's in good working order. Well,
Yes.
Let me tell you something funny, because I've asked several DJs, do you take requests? Yes, because I'm not really digging what they're playing. And I said, can you play something by Mambo Legends? And they're like, yeah, what's the name of the group? What group do you want to hear? And I'm like, okay, that is the name of the group. But I want to tell you what my two pet peeves are with DJs. The one that I think kills me the most is when they speed up the tempo of a song. And you can tell because someone with a baritone voice is now a tenor.
Right.
And you can tell that's not the way that person sounds. The other thing that I find that some younger DJs do is they like to mix one song into the next. And you may like you said, the ending of a song, you may be waiting for that ending of a song because it's very dynamic, and
Right.
then they just gloss over it. And then if you're a dancer, you may not want to keep dancing with that person that you are currently dancing with for song number one, and then you're in song number two, song number three. How do you eradicate yourself? So those are my two pet peeves about DJs, and I know you never do that.
No, because you know what it is? Like I tell people, yo, man, I can't believe you're not beat mixing salsa like everybody's. Let me tell you something. When Pacheco went into the studio to do Agua de Cabalito, it was 6 minutes and 22 seconds. He didn't extend the intro, and he didn't extend the outro. It was 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's it. Game over. There's no need to extend the intro, extend the outro, so that you can beat mix your way into that. All these guys who love the beat mix salsa, you want a beat mix? Let's play some house. Okay? You want beat mix? You want to talk about beat mixing and holding records on top of each other for like 2-3 minutes? You come talk to me. Let's play some house music together, and we'll really find out who can really hold two records together, because salsa is not made to be beat mix. I'm sorry. I mean, I know the technology is there, and certain companies have come out with remixes of certain songs where they extend the intro, and the outro is just instrumental so that they can just go into the next song, and then the whole thing with the sample, no, no, that's not what the music is about. It's one song. And people was like, well, you have the gap. No, it's not really much of a gap. You play a song, let it end, and I might wait maybe like 1 second, 2 seconds. It's not like the song ends and you're waiting like 15. No, I'm not letting you wait 15 seconds. One song will end. I might give you 2 seconds. Or else if I'm watching the room and I'm at home, these guys need a quick 3-second breather, because I've had them on for like the last 6-7 songs, and they're starting to get a little poop. So let me give them 3 seconds to regroup, and then I'm gonna bring down the tempo. Boom! I'm gonna play a cha-cha. Bam! And now you've regrouped, and it's like, oh shit, a cha-cha. All of a sudden, you've got energy out of nowhere. You've been dancing for like the last 6-7 records, and now because of that one little gap, 3 seconds just for you to regroup. Sabroso. Un cha-cha ahora. Or you'd be like, por fin, tipo tocó una cha-cha, por fin.
Right. Yes. Yes. Because it's such a sexy music with an accompanying sexy dance.
Right.
I mean, I think about Pacheco Paisan,
yes.
Guajira. Oh my God.
Yes.
That song is
Yes.
sexy.
Yep, I know.
and I remember one DJ say, "Oh, that song's too long." Oh no, it's not. If you are grooving to this with the right partner,
right,
this song is perfect.
Yes. And you would dance the entire song. That's like almost 8 and some change, because it's not like you're sweating for like eight minutes and change. And if you have the right partner, like I said, those are the kind of songs. If I'm playing, you might walk into it, and I'm doing that as a sound check, and people are walking, okay, oh shit, if I sung, and it's only 8:05? This is how he's getting started? Oh, lo que viene sabroso.
That's right. They're glad they stepped into your venue.
Definitely. No doubt.
Yeah, because there's nothing better. You know, this is so funny, but Bruno used to play Monday nights at a place called Clarendon Grill.
You remember?
And and I would say, can you play some crap so I can go home?
Yeah, that's a problem I have doing a lot of places. People, the manager will be, my man, it's 2:00 in the morning. Could you start to wind it down? Because like no one's leaving.
Right. Well, I have to say this has been so much fun catching up with you because I haven't seen you.
I know.
It's been a very long time since I've seen you in person. I think the last time I saw you was at one of the SALSA congresses in New York.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And you know, it's just been too long, and it's been great to be one-on-one with you, talking about this great music that we love and hearing your perspective, your philosophy, how you lead your life to bringing us to that high standard of appreciation. And we truly appreciate it. And I think that you are one of the underrated DJs. I don't think enough people know about you. I mean, everybody should know who DJ Broadway is, because once they do, they're going to be converts. They're going to be in your camp because you are going to deliver what they love. You play enough of a variety that will bring, you have something for everybody. And it's not just like, well, one song here for somebody. It's like you have a whole big set.
Yeah.
That is appreciated by the majority of your crowd, your listeners. And then you go into a little bit of a different groove and we're still loving it. And then you're bringing in other folks. So you set a really great example. And I want to thank you for making me so happy on my ride to and from Ohio, at Zanzibar, at the SALSA congresses, and on your shows every Sunday on WFNK Radio at 2 p.m.
Yeah, the Broadway Express, where real salsa meets deep house. Well-structured sets and salsa que nadie toca. I live by that standard and I die by that standard, because that's my premise. Even when I'm playing live, it's the same thing, because I don't want people to think that, oh, here we go again, it's another salsa social. What's he gonna play now? Or those people who be like, who's DJ Broadway? You ever heard of him? No. Does he play good music? I don't know. We'll find out. And by the end of the night, it's like, yo, man, wow. Because the last social I did a couple of weeks ago, I had an English guy coming to me at the end of the night. You know, you were playing songs that I kind of knew, but you were playing a lot of songs that I didn't know. And it's just the way you were able to programming. That's the one last thing. Programming is so important in music. It is so important in music, programming. It's just, you gotta know how to program. You gotta know how to program. And I think coming from programming is called what? Read your audience. It's not about you. It's not about you. I know you're the DJ and you're the superstar, but it's not about you. It's about them. And the entire night you're communicating back and forth. The entire night you're communicating back and forth, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You know, being able to go back and forth the entire night. And where did my co-host go? You still there, Eileen? Did I lose you? Hold on. This. Oh.
I think she blotted out. She blotted out. Yeah.
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was listening to the show. Fantastic show, and I wanted to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come on to the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. You're the first person that's you guys are the first guys entering, because I didn't think you know, I'm not a superstar, you know. I'm not the number one in the world. I'm just Broadway, just trying to survive, you know, and keep my name going, and that's it. And just trying to make people happy, you know. That's what it's all about, man. So I'm just a small pea in the pod. That's what I am. Because everybody's
well, I think you guys were getting ready to wrap it up. I'm not sure. Is that was that case?
Yeah.
I think she lost connection.
Okay.
But it was a great interview, and we'll talk about what we talked about earlier a little later.
Oh yeah, man.
on.
Yo, dude, we need to make that happen.
Okay.
Bro, we need to make that happen, man. Just start working on that now. Maybe I'll pencil in. Call me, and I'll put something in pencil and hold it. But yeah, I mean, on the house music chip. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, it would be
okay. All right. Okay, Broadway.
Yeah, we need to do like a salsa meets house out there, man. That needs to happen. So you are the architect. Okay.
No,
you're the architect. I'm just the guy who builds. I'm the guy who builds. You're the architect.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, you're the architect. I just follow the blueprint, and I think you froze up on me. All right, bro. Take care, man, and see you soon. And let's work on that. All right, bro. Take care.